Hello, Guardians,
Fuck you all.
and welcome back to another lore reading video. And in today's video, we have a special one. Today we will be reading part 1 of the Pigeon and the Phoenix lore book. We will be going through parts 1 through 9 for this video, and then 10 through 19 for the future release. So, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more Destiny 2 content. And let's jump straight into it. A lone engine rails against the faux tranquility of the dead zone, keeping a teetering chassis of metal just within the terminator line of brimming twilight. The carrier dives through needled mountains that perforate low-hanging clouds, cutting them into sheets of stratus and vapor that slide like flattening suds across a dusk ocean. A closed net comms line crackles. Marin Aru, most of the canopy is too thick to land, will be exposed in the clearing. Saint 14. She will be there. Final transmission lists 6 refugees peddled for ether. Geppetto. An upward of 30 fallen. Marin Oru. In that case, I'm glad we brought the machine gun. Saint 14. This warlord who deals with them, we will have to pay them a visit. Marin. Focus on the task at hand. 30 seconds. Geppetto. Miss Lucine's ghost. Ghost. Reports no pikes. However, there is a covered pit in the camp that drew curiosity. They're going radio silent. Marin. Something better left alone, I'm sure. They plunge into shadow between peaks, cloud wake trials as they slow to land. The carrier whirs and rattles. Engines cut and cool. Titan and Warlock disembark. They wait. Well done, Geppetto. Marin Uro's voice emanates from his helmet visor, stiffly fixed on the tree line. Geppetto blinks code into the gloaming horizon, awaiting response. Thank you, Brother Marin. It was my first time. Marin is a statue. Saint opens the carrier's cargo hold and turns to Marin. She will be here. Geppetto blinks. No response from Miss Lucine. All this worry is over nothing. Tiv will laugh with us tomorrow. Saint pats Marin's back. Tomorrow? Marin's eyes are fixed on the darkening tree line. Yes, tomorrow. The day after. Again after that. And more until a day without armor. That's a pleasant thought. Marin straightens, peering at a point in depth. A light blinks from the tree line. Brother Saint, I have located them. Tiv Lucine leaves the tree line with 6 souls in tow. She spots Geppetto's light flickering in the twilight. Her ghost spins and shimmers in the hands of a child who is navigating them to their destination. Moonlight creeps into the valley, lifting the arrested, momentary pitch between sundown and moonrise. Dew hugs the grass along her boots. They approach. Ghosts dissipate. Marin stands poised. A long barrel armament affixed with a bipod adorns his shoulders. Thank you for doing this, Marin. Tiv speaks softly. She thrusts a steady hand toward his. He nods and shakes her hand. It was Saint's idea. Is that what he told you? She looks to Saint, greeting refugees and ushering them into the carrier. It does not matter who had the idea. Saint 14 hugs her. Marin straightens and looks beyond them. Flares loose from the canopy, breathing pale azure, revival back into the sky. Shrieks and lights whip into frenzy within the trees. Cloud cover casts darkness over the clearing. Marin's stance breaks. Tiv, get this heap in the air. Saint, you're with me. Marin plants a bipod in the grass. Saint spreads his light into a gleaming barricade of opposition against the tree line. Go now, it's a long flight. We will make sure you are not followed. Saint shoulders his rifle. Tiv nods. She runs for the cockpit. Saint salutes as the cargo hold shuts. Howls ring from the brink. Fallen step into the clearing. Marin racks the repeater. Come on then. The carrier engine fires. It roars, bright, bellowing flame. A beacon. A wish. Cacophony sounds in the distance, splitting heated bends through the canopy pine as a screaming red shell tears across the clearing. The carrier is annihilated. Tiv shatters. Her body skids across the grass in ruin. Deafening shock breaks the night. In it, a lone call. Spider tank! Saint looks to the twisted scar where the carrier had been. They're gone. Suppressing fire. Marin sends the response clear into the tree line. The fallen charge against his lead rebuke. Move! Saint catches sight of Tiv. Newly breathing. She stumbles several paces away. Posture crooked among the wreckage, she leans against a shard of the carrier's hull. Out of sight while Ghost busily spins light. The hand of her good arm sinks to a sheathed blade. The night air hangs still. The Exo's eyes lock to the tree line. His will? Solid iridescence. The air around him bends into infinite density. Violet shimmer ripples across his plate and bows outward against the horror, consolidating into a luminous shield. He meets the fallen charge with void light doom. Machine gun fire rips overhead, cutting down dregs and splitting the front in two. He takes ground with every step, shattering each challenger. He breaks through the tree line and flings his shield, severing one of the walker's limbs. He is at the brink, face to face with death. The walker's field gun teeters to match his verticality. Saint 14 braces. He is an incandescent ward. A just retribution. A violet wall that stands to refute the night, but the dawn does not follow. A second shell rings from the walker's cannon. It collides. Apocalyptic. The ward shatters against the blast. Only darkness. A steel hand, limp and flat, slowly clenches into a fist. They are dragged. Saint grasps at consciousness. His vision is fire and wreckage. Timbers shatter against the walker's frame as it emerges before them, shrouded behind smoke. Fallen mouths shriek in muted, death-tone emptiness as they fill the clearing. Saint blinks. The world races back to him. Skas Veskirisk. The remaining fallen ranks part to reveal a hulking captain. Skas Volaskus. Chitters and Trill run from the Vandals down to the dregs as he roars. Marin is at his back. Breathing and bleeding. Faster. Tiv. Kapsokaps. Vakhim. Orap. Tal. Yirask. Kapsokaps. Vameska. Peptosirolosk. The horde raised their arms. Melixnix Monekin. They unleash a storm of bolts. Tiv meets the bolts in the air, crackling with lightning that snaps at the ground beneath her. She whisks away the storm with a neat discipline. Tiv meets the bolts in the air, crackling with lightning that snaps at the ground beneath her. She whisks away the storm with a keen discipline, scattering of hail, of arc bolts around the fire team. Dirt hisses as the bolts sear into the ground and billow clouds into the air. She slides into the obfuscating dust and sweeps arc purity through the fallen in the confusion. Modern takes the distraction. He distillates, as his will, all the light he can muster into one point. Color drains around him, and the point grows dark. He casts it from him, a pale iridescence that rips reality endlessly into itself. The sphere of void strikes the walker true, twisting the crumpling metal into oblivion. Not one fallen remains. They stand alone in the wreckage. Cinders spit, washing faint light over Osiris's lone face. The woods behind him formlessly melt into midnight nothing. Sagira moves across his shoulders, distant serenity. She is a small diamond in stilled isolation, a playful flitter blinking among thermal plume. Pensive focus slows the physical. He is alone in the void, intrusions no more. There is a point in the depth. It cannot be directly viewed. Delve, dive deeper. The fire is going out. Cloying worldly noise rushes back. Aren't you cold? I wasn't. Osiris rubs his brow and stirs the fire. Thank you, Sagira. It's not going to get any clearer just because you want it to, Osiris. You need time. Osiris clenches his jaw. He feels himself standing in wide shallows, gaping at an unrecognizable profundity. Why did you choose me? Osiris's voice in hollow. He flattens a palm for Sagira to perch. You have a spark. Her voice is warm air. The fire pops. A spark. Frustration lines his face. This world is dying, over and over again. So were you. I dragged you back. Sagira allows Osiris's hand to cradle her shell. I raised you until you could stand on your own. You'll do the same for them in your own way. Her words linger in his ears with sweetness. I don't have your patience, Sagira. He takes in a slow breath and lets it out. Someone's coming. Her voice sharp. Conceal me, hissed serene. Sagira dissipates as Osiris closes his palm. He dims. A small band of humans emerge from the woods at Osiris's flank. Some carry rust-laden firearms. The one who leads them jaunts forward. Stand up, old man. The words are slung over his shoulder, wet and heavy. No. A painted ghost whips in front of Osiris's face. Warlord Reich demands you stand. You're on my turf, burning my wood. That's stealing. That's an arm. Given immortality, and all you can think to do is grab what's around you. What a waste. The warlord laughs. The ghost quickly laughs in step. You're a disgrace. Osiris peers over his shoulder. Leave. Rethink your path. It's your arm or your life. Those are the rules. Make your decision. Osiris leaves the words to hang around the warlord's head. I have half a dozen guns at my back. The warlord puts pitted iron to Osiris's hood. I have a spark. Flame engulfs Osiris, erupting into wings that cast back the shadows of the night. The white-hot blade extends from his hand. In one swift motion, Osiris cuts the warlord down into a sizzling heap and snatches his stunned ghost from the air. His gaze shifts to the people to catch sight of their backs as the lot retreat into the woods. His attention snaps to the ghost. Why this man? Osiris douses his flame. Get off me! Sagira complies herself back into existence. You, sister, help. Okay. Hey, he's not going to hurt you. Talk to me. Pretend like he's not here. Sagira aligns herself directly in front of the ghost. Their irises lock and twitch erratically in sequence. Oh, let him go. Osiris releases. The ghost dissipates. Sagira? He needed someone strong. A fighter. Nothing more? Sagira pauses. The traveler was wounded when it created us. That pain echoes. Some of us make choices we shouldn't. Some of us are scared. The process isn't streamlined. Flaws. Osiris shrinks against the forest's aphotic density. If there are flaws in the light, then it could be corrupted. It is not indomitable, and so in time would be challenged. We're pieces of a whole, but distinct, unique. You're not Mr. Perfect yourself. He would need to learn patience. Where will he go? To reunite with the traveler, to find someone new, someone better. What would be the last city looms over Osiris. Ramshackle barricades bent around it miles into the distance. He strides through half-formed steel rust walls and across flattened earth foundation, pocked from small arms fire. He passes dozens of citizens welding fortifications, making repairs, and disassembling thin, battle-scorched hovels to repurpose the materials into permanent homes. Light bearers dot the landscape, heaving great loads of metal to burgeoning walls, melting beams together with solar light, or scanning for distant threats all along the many watchtowers that border the city, like lighthouses guiding the lost into safe harbor. Ghosts project diagrams and schematics to steer the hands of each worker. One man pulls a crude cup from a bucket. It drips clean water as he lifts it into his lips and drinks deeply while the bucket is ferried away on pulleys to quench another group elsewhere. I've never seen so many ghosts before. Will we be staying long? The traveler is here, Sagira. Where better to find the answers we seek? The smell of tea and spice flow through the air, bouncing punctually to the senses over aging smoke and fumes. An aroma of peppered meats draws Osiris toward a central square full of scattered materials and low cinder chunk walls propping up scrapyard rifles. An armored exo shuffles between cooking grills inside a ring of rubble. It sounded grander, Sagira muses, surveying the tense city remnants in the distance. Rumors always do. It's not quite the foothold oasis Fellwinter spoke of, but it is a start. What could be grander? The exo chef clatters half a dozen wooden plates of food onto a rough stone counter. This is hope, Guardian. Quiet days like these. Soon there will be more. I'm no guardian, just meeting a friend. Osiris looks to a far tower jutting above the encompassing construction. Solitary, in the shadow of an osseous white orb. I will be your friend. Come, sit, eat. There is enough for you to join us. I am Saint 14. Osiris eyes the plated meat and the smoky grill before glancing back at the distant fortifications. You could do the work of 20 on that wall. It is their wall. Should they require assistance, they need only ask. Saint 14 extends a plate of food towards Osiris and arranges his faceplates into a smile. Since he's not going to introduce us, this is Osiris, and I am Sagira. It's nice to meet you, Saint. It is nice to meet you too, Sagira. Osiris, please. Saint 14 gestures to a flimsy wooden chair. Two ghosts zoom past them and sweep plates from the counter before scooting off. Would you mind helping them bring food to the table, Sagira? Sure. Let me just load up my service protocol. The joke hangs. Saint 14 expresses genuine thanks. Okay, I'll be right back. She delicately balances a plate and floats away. Are you not hungry? You could be patrolling with the Iron Lords. Osiris pulls the plate closer. Saint sits. Is that what gives you purpose? A gaggle of ghosts zoom across the ground, kicking up tiny clouds and chirping to each other. They glide up the rubble, leave clean plates, scoop up new ones, and are gone again. There are monsters out there, the kind a lightless being could not hope to overcome. Life is hard. Saint stands to line the grill with shaved pork. Those of us who can help should. I worry about wasted potential. Osiris sneaks a small piece from his plate. You should see the speaker. Perhaps he can help you find your path. Osiris scoffs. I don't think he has my answers. You want to bet? Saint 14 flips the mound of pork with his hand. I don't gamble, Osiris pauses. He glances over his shoulder. Sagira twists in formation with other ghosts. They dance through the air, scooping empty plates from improvised tables. Is he a good man? I would give my life for him. All this, Saint 14 gestures to the borders of the city, is a breath. People are better if they have a moment to breathe. You think so? I do, and I think you will come to see that I am right. Ghosts make the loop. Sagira laughs. Maybe. Thank you for the food, Saint 14. You're welcome. The two eat. Osiris's shoulders slacken. Does this taste burnt to you? No. Saint 14 barrels through drifting wool tufts, dyed in now dispersed polychromatic patterns. A detachment of the Firebreak Order had overextended their hold in the valley, and when pressed, refused to give ground. Their valiance was swept away in futility. 8 downed, 1 missing. He emerges at a ridgetop on the western border, ribbons of wool still clinging to his armor like kaleidoscopic streaks. Munitions detonate against the open sky behind him. Lightning crashes down in response. The city is not lost yet. 8 guardians lay lightless, their bodies back to back in a field of broken enemies and scorched earth. Fallen circle them like vultures. In the chaos, their ghosts had fled toward the ridgetop without detection. Saint 14 watches them glide fast and low. He maps the route up the sloped ridge toward a small crater at the lip where he could meet them. His attention snaps to the crater, the ninth, Elric. She was safe and alone and burrowed into herself. Saint slides into the crater next to Elric. Her surprised terror fades to relief. Are you okay? Yes. Her ghost is wounded, but alive. We will clear a path, and they will all stand again. The air bursts open above the fallen. Those closest are incinerated. In their place shines Osiris's brilliant golden light. The blast ruptures a nearby captain's barrier, sending them careening across the dirt. Hissing and roars erupt. Shock rifles sling bolts skyward. Flame rains and scatters them. His movements cut, aureate ribbons through their ranks. Disorientation turns to panic, and one after another are consumed by his conflagration. Give them hell, you crazy bastard. Saint turns to Elric. Are you ready? I can't. Osiris cheats his sight to the fleeing ghost for a moment. Click. They had almost made the ridge. Click. He spun back, palm alight. Click. The captain, now standing, sends the full fury of his scourge cannon. The blast rips through Osiris's image in shimmering fashion, scattering light across the valley, traced in molten glass. More fallen flood the valley. We need you, Titan. I can't die again. Then we will not die. Saint checks his magazine. Several tiny lights blip over the lip of the ridge. Guardians. She sits up, counts them all. 8 lives. 8 that would carry so many more. I couldn't. This is a new choice. Saint 14 steps out of the crater. You are only what you want to be. Elric stands. Hide now, little ones. We're going to get your guardians back. Osiris burns a roaring visage against the sky's soot firmament, compressing endless night. Skeins of light twist and hum charged, sinews snitch through his muscle and bone. Myriad shimmering gold marionettes scramble to reinforce gaps across the city's defense at his behest. The east below him breached by waves of frenetic clamoring fallen. The front had not broken, only moved. He focuses his projections there. A small fire team holds the line. Osiris twists. Golden defiance moves to stanch the fallen's momentum. One projection locks eyes with the Titan. She nods. And with fluid elegance, the projection lifts her skyward. She brings down a tempest that rolls thunder across the city walls and scatters the advancing force. Shax bellows in the distance. Multiple skeins snap. The sky stretches into starless night, and oblivion crowds the borders of Osiris's mind and suffocating omnipresence. The margins. Light thinly stretched under duress, never enough. The west is bending, the transfer instantaneous. Osiris weaves inferno, ether, and flame engulfing each other into ashen wake. He spots 8 lights climbing the ridge. Click. A lone guardian crashes into the ridgetop horizon. Click. They will survive. Click. He turns, palm alight. The north is bending. Nerves burn. The city's gold hue falters. Only a moment of exhalation. The north fractures. Field guns rip into the wall. He is there. 2 hunters hold. One snap fires beams of sunlight from her rifle wreathed in flame. The second dances through the challengers, her blades arc purity. No one would pass them. His projections move to fill the gap. Bodies in the rubble. Evacuees from the south breach caught in the blasts. Their deaths filled his mind through 20 gilded eyes, capturing the scene in its totality. Osiris would scour the north front in golden light. He looked to the shattered wall. Through the gap, mind inutile, overshadowed by the eternal precipice. Crowded with menace, eyes peering down, seeping over, hungry, waiting to flood this last hope with plunging depth. Even now, as fallen lines break against the line, others stand watching from deep, starless hollows. If not this, another. The dam will fail, as all do in time. But for now, the south bends, and it can still be cleansed with fire. Thank you guys so much for listening to part 1 of the Pigeon and the Phoenix lore book. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and ring that bell for more Destiny 2 content. So, on that note, I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, Guardians.